Hey, it's Aaron, Metal Theologian. So, yeah, I'm listening to this fucking record by this band from Argentina. I just kind of, yeah, I don't know. I just found some guy who had a couple things I wanted, and this was one of them. So, yeah, the band's called Bloke, which is a pretty terrible name. But the cover's kind of awesome, isn't it? Like, I don't even know what the fuck that is. Like that, it's like a three-headed, like fucking, what are those things called? It's not a bulldozer, but you know, I'll think of it as soon as I'm done shooting the video. Anyway, you know, they look kind of awesome too. But the reason I kind of wanted to talk about this is a couple of videos ago I was talking about how Triarchy had like stole this Devo riff, or at least it sounded like that. There's a fucking song on this record that totally sounds like Livewire. I'm trying to figure out what year this is. So of course I don't know. This reissue is like 2015. I want to say this is like 86 or something like that. Yeah, it wouldn't have hurt if I like could read Spanish. Yeah, it's funny, all the shit's in Spanish about it. Yeah. So, anyway. I think it's like 3 songs in or something. Well, this kind of reminds me of Come On and Dance, but I want to just like sit here and like sample through the whole record. So, you know, one thing that's cool about sort of grabbing records, like filing them away sometimes, every so often you find like a gem. Like, this is sort of one of those. I just pulled this out. The band name is Dead Engine. I mean, what a terrible name, right? And they spelled dead wrong, D-E-D. I mean, look at that. That's like a really... I mean, the logo's kind of awesome, but like, it's really shitty, you know? Now, they look fantastic. But anyway, this is like just sort of one-off record. I think this is all they did. It was actually on Pentagram Records. So I don't know if they were like friends of, I don't know, Hasselband or whoever it was who was behind that fucking label. But this is a really cool record, man. It's just a fucking... It's pretty straightforward, you know. It's just like a balls-out rocker, you know what I mean? It's not like fucking prog metal or anything like that. You know, there's sort of kind of barroom quality to it. But it smokes, man. It's just fucking fantastic. And people don't really talk about this, probably because of all that shit that I said at the beginning, you know? Looks kind of stupid, a dumb name. Not the greatest distribution. Not terrible distribution, but not the greatest either, you know? But yeah, it's a really cool record, man. Dead Engine gets a thumbs up, you know? Pulled this one out too, actually, because Marty was talking about it the other day on the stream. But, you know, it's funny, this is a great record, and I know it's a great record, but it kind of tends to fly under my radar because I get into Onslaught, like, really early. Like, when, for the most part, I listen to bands as heavy as, like, this. I really like Power from Hell in, like, I don't know, like, 87 or 88 when I first heard it, so... So when I heard this one for the first time, this one is really a much better record than Power from Hell. But Power from Hell has that sort of, you know, kind of punky quality to it, that sort of barely restrained. You know, that first one, it's committed to the metal, but you can tell that they were like a punk band before they started it, you know? Even though they were talking about like death metal and shit like that before anyone else was using that term. So yeah, this record I really think is better as far as the chops and the songwriting and maybe even I don't know. But that first record has a special place in my heart, and so every time I pull this one out I feel sort of like surprised all over again. It's like, wow, that second Onslaught record could just totally defined in my head by the other one. That second one is really different and really good, so it's an awesome record though. Actually, this is another one that sort of goes along with the Dead Engine vibe. Is this Recidive one? Yeah, I had heard of this record. I remember hearing of this band back in the 80s. Like, someone wrote it down, and like, I thought the name was so ridiculous that like, excuse me, since I was talking with someone in Germany, I thought they just like got the English wrong, like between the French band and like that. Actually, I wouldn't have known the band was French, but basically I thought he just butchered the name to the point where I could no longer recognize it. Because that happened occasionally too. I saw some really funny spellings of like Motley Crue and shit like that. So anyway, yeah, Recidive I didn't think was a real band name. So when I saw it, I was curious from the get-go. And, this is really kind of awesome, man. It's really straightforward, like real sort of barroom vibe to this. But, what really appeals to me about this, I've been really into that new wave of British heavy metal sound. And obviously these guys were French, right? But this record is like 81. It's not too long. And it just fucking smokes. And it has that kind of, that X factor that the new wave bands have too. You know what I mean? That really sort of barroom thing, you know? But they still have a distinctive sound, you know? So yeah. That's Recidive. Yeah, I wish I'd figured out what the song was before I started the video, because there's something else I kind of want to sample here too. I'm gonna try one more time. It might be on the other side, but anyway, there's a fucking song on this thing. It's just... whatever. Oh, well, this is Bloke. They're fucking great. Now, here's another record that I want to talk about. This band called Vice, okay? And there are a few different bands called Vice, or there have been. Like, there's one, I don't think there was a big band ever called Vice. Like, one that made it beyond, like, maybe 1,000 run of the record instead of a 500 run. But, this one is not as highly regarded as the other one. And, there's one that has like a red cover. It's like the same color as this. It has like this sort of badge thing that says Vice on it. I've shown it before, but that one is like looked on as like the Vice record to get. This one, I don't know that it's any more common, but people don't really seem to like this one. And I think I know why. It's because, first of all, look at them. Look what fucking dorks they are, dude. But here's the thing, dude. This record is fucking genius. Because it's like they're doing like the sort of glammy thing. Like they're kind of doing that. And they sing, but they have this singer who's like, I think he's doing like a David Lee Roth thing, but he just sounds so like, bleh, bleh. I mean, he sounds like, I don't know if he's drunk or just like kind of a moron, but it's fantastic, man. It fucking loads this record up with charisma. And like, it would be like a really ordinary kind of just whatever record, but this fucking singer just makes this record special. Mess with the balance a little bit. Yeah, there you go. This one, Vice. You've probably seen this on lists, and like, this is one of the ones where when you start collecting, you're like, this is a private pressing with a really simple cover. And for some reason, this one only has $20 on it instead of like $200. What's wrong with it, you know? So I'm telling you right now, here's what's wrong with it. Listen to this. It's so weird, isn't it? You know who he actually reminds me of a little bit is Snake from Voivod. Like with some of his intonations in that. I guess they're from Albuquerque. Their address is in Albuquerque. Yeah, maybe Scott Waters knows these guys. It's probably before he moved there, actually. It's 1984, so it is kind of early, you know? Like, the backing vocals are straight. He's doing, like, this fucking thing on top. It's so weird, dude. Yeah, I fucking love this record, man. I kind of blind bought this, too, man. I just wanted to know what the deal was. That's a fucking gem. You know, speaking of weird records like this, this is kind of a great one too. This is the Italian band Hollowed. And this one, like, it's mostly like pretty decent metal, but like there's some pop tunes on it that are like, I mean, really like the like most stomach turning like ballads you can imagine. I mean, they're really like pop tunes. It's like past the point of like a power ballad, just kind of that level of suck. Like, it's really kind of remarkable, you know, because otherwise this record seems pretty metal in intent, you know. Although one of the songs is dedicated to UNICEF, which is kind of funny. But yeah, there's a reissue of this, because original does tend to be a little bit, you know. But, yeah, give it a listen if you're interested. I don't want to interrupt Vice, because it's not that great. Hollowed is kind of more weird than great, though, too, you know. Of course, that's this thing, too, isn't it? So... This is a Spanish band, man. This is total, like, synthesizer-y shit. Maybe I should fire this up for a bit, in fact, actually. Excalibur. They have, like, the knight on there and shit. These guys are Spanish. That's a pretty promising band photo, too, you know? It's funny, they, like, messed with the cover art a little bit. And I realized it's a division of extreme music, and they put out some death metal records, and also kind of messed with the cover art a little bit. So, oh yeah, let's move on to Excalibur for a minute. I'm really tempted to go with the Tarantula, because this is the next one I was going to show here. Let's see, I'm going to put on Excalibur for a minute first. Yeah, Vice is a fucking gem, though, isn't it? It's so fucking good. Yeah, Excalibur. I don't know, you know, for some reason this would just kind of hit me right, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to ask me who I could compare this to, I would probably think of, what's that Danish band? Crystal Knight. You know, as far as sort of a pretty synth-heavy, pretty, like, accessible sound. But it just kind of does it for me anyway, you know? It's one of those. I think I am getting, like, softer with age or something like that, too. Chromie D gives me shit about it sometimes with the AOR thing. Yeah, listen to that. Like, back in '88, I would have hated that. Like, it's pretty serious in intent, though, you know what I mean? It's not like playing games as far as the writing. I mean, that's where I think this is cool, you know? Like, it's striving for grandeur, you know what I mean? You know, speaking of striving for grandeur, here's something I've been thinking about. I think I'm on record as, like, loving, like, discussions about, like, what's speed and what's thrash metal. Because I really don't think either of those expressions have any meaning. And, like, because, like, if you talk with 10 people and they all tell you what thrash metal is and what speed metal is, they could all agree with each other, like, while you're having a conversation. But then if you, like, ask them individually, they might say completely contradictory things. I really think it's just like a, well, here's what I think it's like. I was thinking about this the other night, actually. A couple people got me wondering about this on Marty's stream. I think it's sort of like, you know about, like, al dente pasta? It's supposed to be, like, to the tooth, and it's considered, like, the best way to make pasta. Well, basically, so what exactly does that mean, though, right? It's like there's an idea as far as, like, how much, you know, sort of bite there is to it. But basically, if you went out and asked 100 people how they made their pasta, all their pasta would be different, but they would all say it was al dente. You know what I mean? Because basically what it really boiled down to is however they liked it, they called it al dente. Because they heard that al dente was the right way to do it. You know what I mean? And I kind of think that's what the discussion with speed metal versus thrash metal is like. Like, if I have an idea about a band being speed metal or thrash metal, I can come up with reasons to justify it one way or the other. And I can, like, create these criteria and, like, build this, like, headcanon around it. But at the end of the day, it's all subjective, you know? So, I suppose if I wanted to be, like, a little bit sort of pompous about it, I would say that I reject those terms in favor of letting the music, or letting the band speak for themselves or something in order to deal with idiosyncrasies. But the thing is, I wouldn't do that because I don't actually have a problem with, like, creating arbitrary categories to, like, compare bands by. I mean, fucking look at the emphasis I put on just, like, whether or not they have mustaches, you know? So yeah, I definitely don't mind talking about bands on kind of a childish level. Yeah, I got this Tarantula record recently. It's, you know, not the cheapest thing ever, but I kind of wanted it for a long time. It came up for a good price. I went for it. And one thing I noticed, I've shown their second record before, and their second record is, it's really kind of similar in style, but they had this keyboard player on this one here who like does a lot of like flourishes and really is kind of, as keyboard players in metal go, he has a pretty distinctive sound, and he also looks awesome. And his name is Paiva. But he's not on the second album. So what I'm wondering about is whether he left Tarantula to pursue a solo career. I actually wouldn't bet against it. So here's another one I found kind of recently. This is kind of in the category with the Dead Engine record, actually, as far as just being like a really awesome, like rockin' heavy metal record. It's kind of, you know, maybe not super distinctive in this way or that, but just really scratches the itch when you want it scratched, you know. And they actually have, you know, the entertaining name of Fisk, F-I-S-C. And I don't know what that's supposed to mean. The record is enough. I mean, it's called Tracker, right? So that's in English. It's a French band. Yeah, Running with the Devil, Don't Dream Too Much, Sad Girl, Teaser Woman. Look at this guy. With his fucking mustache. And that pose. See, he's showing that he can have a mustache and be kind of swole, but still be sensitive, you know? Although that guy, I think, is the real sexy, you know, the real sort of desirable piece of meat in this band. But yeah, Fisk, man, I don't know. It's like, it's funny. I was put off by the name for so long time just because it's such a terrible name. I mean, I don't know, man. It seems like even if it like means something funny and I just don't get it, it's still a shitty name. But yeah, and it's one of those records that's cheap, but you have to get it from Europe. So it's kind of the same deal. One came up in the US. There's a fucking piece of hair on the inside of here. That's fucking annoying me. There we go, I got it. So there you go. You get a little bit of the obsessive compulsion, you know? Because if there isn't a little bit of that going on, you don't end up with a record collection this size, right? So I might as well just fucking own that. Alright, 17 minutes in. What are we talking about? I'm going to show this record. I actually haven't played this one yet. I'm just showing this one for Mr. Mikey Bananas from Grown Man Record Night. Because he went on the Grown Man Record Night Discord a couple nights ago. Maybe a week ago or something now. And said, hey, have you heard this record? It's great, like stoner doomy shit, you know? So I happened to be in there, so I checked it out. I listened to like 5 seconds of it. I was like, yeah, sold, man. I don't want to listen to any more of it than just a little bit, you know? Like enough to know I'm going to like it, and then like I'll just listen to it on the record player and let it. So I basically spent like, you know, like it was like 3 minutes from the time I read the thing when I went looking for a copy, and I found it for $10 and grabbed it. So I went and said so, and Bananas hadn't bought it yet. So I actually got the cheapest copy that was out there. You can still get it. It's not like it's rare, but yeah, if Mikey Bananas like looking at this one, he's gnashing his teeth right now. And if you're watching this video, you can gnash along with him, or you can smile along with me. Everyone tune into Grown Man Record Night on Friday nights, by the way. I'm almost always in that fucking chat. And even if I'm not there, it's still a great fucking show. I mean, obviously, I've been boosting Grown Man Record Night since I started my fucking channel, man. It's been like 8 years. It's kind of funny. Alright, so I'm going to fire up a minute's worth of... You know what's funny is I have another fucking record here by a Czech band called Tarantula. We're going to listen to the Portuguese Tarantula right now. It's so fucking cool that so much of this shit is out there. And you know, one thing about the whole like vinyl resurgence and shit like that, you know, people complain about it, and yeah, pressing plants are backed up and shit like that. But shit like this is getting reissued at all, you know? Like this Tarantula here is an original, but that Excalibur record is an expensive one too, you know? Like an original of that, but that reissue that I got, you know, you have to get it from Spain, so it's not dirt cheap, but it's accessible, you know? And I just think that's a fucking great thing, you know? I mean, yeah, it's cool to have originals of all this shit. And it's, you know, it's probably part of why you tune in, because I have a bunch of that shit. And that's part of why I make these videos, because I kind of like showing it off. I mean, let's just be honest, right? But it's really nice to not have the shit like hidden behind like a money wall where it's not accessible, you know? And with like the whole like record resurgence, you can build a collection of this shit like without having to, you know, just grab this shit as it comes, you know, stay on top of it. And after a while you go, holy shit, I've got all this great stuff. So yeah, buy lots of reissues by bands like Excalibur from Spain. Or Tarantula from the Czech Republic. Or Tarantula from Portugal. They're really both great. They're pretty different. Tarantula from Czech Republic is a little more sort of straight ahead, like a metal thing. The Tarantula from Portugal, I mean, this is what we're listening to right now. They're kind of more poppy and more proggy at the same time. Yeah, it's like this weird like key. It's like metal, like it's like it's legit like gallop there, right? But then this weird like major key thing. After that like epic synth opening, it's kind of a weird record, man. Let me show it again because it's so fucking awesome looking. Tarantula. Yeah. The song is called Battle of the Victory. There's a song called Prophets of Christendom on side 2. You gotta love these fucking titles. Although I probably would have called it Prophets of the Christendom because that sounds more like not native English speaker. But that probably wouldn't have been ethnically appropriate because of Portuguese and how it's related to English. Like etymologically, it's not the mistake you would make if you were learning the one speaking the other already, if that makes sense. Ugh. Shit, my fucking feet are falling asleep. I sit here like that. Hey, since I was kind of talking shit about Chromie D, I'll show this one too real quick. Because I hadn't listened to this record in like decades. But when I was coming off the big Blue Oyster Cult kick, I keep saying that like I'm coming off it, like I'm not still listening to them every day. But I was listening to fucking Revolution by Night like every day for like weeks, at least once. And I was kind of looking for something else a little bit like that. You see, it's right there. That's how accessible it is. I'll probably play it after this. I pulled this up though. I forgot playing it for a long time because I remember thinking it was, you know, it was kind of rocking, but I don't know, it sounded like it was on fucking CBS or whatever instead of like some indie thing like Metal Blade Act, you know? So this is a really enjoyable record. I kind of sold it short for a long time, you know? Terrible name, obviously, a really rotten cover. Band photos are not promising. But this is a really good rocker, man. And whatever you've like heard about this, it probably is a... You know, if you come across this for less than $10, grab it, man. It's fucking cheap, and it's fun listening, so why the hell not? So there we go, I'm championing corporate money today. Now I'm just looking to see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about that I haven't shown yet. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I'll just show this one, because let's play this one too. Speaking of shit that's kind of wimpy. There we go. Another salute to Chromie D. So, alright. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.